Hi, Marita Rabina, Corey Street, author of the famous email, referred to multiple times. Couple questions. So one question I have for Lee is the example that I used on the front page in your little package where you see pictures of all the houses that I drove around town and took pictures of today. So, for example, I'm working on a project where it's a split level that I'm remodeling. It's a one-car garage that we're adding another car garage to. It is set back, but it's not set back 6 feet. It's like 5.5. So now we're adding technically a new garage. So how will this ordinance change affect this particular project? Do we now have to completely demolish the existing garage because we want the two garages to line up? Or what is the strategy? Or is this not considered a new garage because it's half new garage, half existing garage? That's question number one. Question number two, what I think Liz was trying to explain is there's this typical, several of these around town, California ranches, where there is a snout garage that's sticking out, and it's partly, for example, the one I'm working on, it's sticking into the setback. So in order for us to rebuild this garage, not in place, we need to move it out forward, which would be alleviating the problem with the side yard, but it will move the garage even more forward than it already is in front of the house. It will technically be a new garage, and then this ordinance will be a problem. So those people have an option to either build the garage where it used to be, which is a problem, they don't have enough room for storage, or bump out the rest of their house forward, which they don't really need. So here we are dealing with these situations that are existing, and yes, I absolutely don't like garages forward. If I were designing a brand new house, there wouldn't be a garage forward, but here we are. What are we going to do? My question...
Marie, can I ask you something? I didn't see that you had sent an email until just a few minutes ago.
Yep.
And so is this the picture with this blue-gray house that you're just describing?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And does that house sort of have, is the front door?
Yes, good question. It's an E. Yes, it's a U. Right. Yeah. Well, actually, it's an H. Right. So there are several houses like this,
right.
And there are sort of two things sticking out, and the door is in.
Can I say? I thought these are for new construction.
Yeah, but no. But once you take your garage down and you have to shift it a foot over, it's a new garage, right?
I thought that Lee went over that it's only
that
for...
That is not the case. That's what he said. If you're rebuilding it in the exact same place, say garage is rotten and you're rebuilding it in the exact same place, to old garage, no problem. However, if people want to move this garage, because what these people would like to do, in my case, they have a garage and then they have the living room. If they would like to add a mudroom in between their garage in their house, so they could come in, take off their stuff, leave their backpacks, enter into the house, that's a new garage now, right? Because it has to move out of the setback. So that's just an example. You know, again, do I love these front-facing garages? Believe me, I would never, ever in a million years. But, you know, here we are, neighborhood
But they're
character.
all over town.
Yeah. They're everywhere. There are one
in old construction.
In Johnson everywhere. They're everywhere. You know. Okay. My question about the two-story space. I understand that we're trying to limit the bulk, right? But first of all, Derek always counts the stair twice. Believe me, I can't explain why for the life of me. He always counts the stair space twice. But if you have an open two-story space next to the stair, that he counts once. So this will basically count the space next to the stair, like you're having, say you have an oval staircase, for example, right? The space in between the oval will now be counted twice, right? Or if you have a two-story living room, for example, right, like in the picture where you have a person who is standing up on the second floor in a loft looking down on the first floor, that would be counted twice. However, if we were to put in an attic in there, just fill in that space, that wouldn't count because that's below our attic regulations. So the bulk from the outside is not affected, right? The same bulk, the same exact thing, except we just lost this kind of a cool, in my opinion, feature where a person could be standing on the second floor and looking down on the first floor, which actually allows for a smaller living room and for a smaller space inside to feel as if it's part of a larger space. So I'm getting to my final point is I think this was heard, in my opinion, loud and clear in the professional focus group, is that a lot of people are desperate and a lot of people are calling and saying, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, please do something, help us, right? But what we're trying to do is we're trying to do little fixes that are not fully thought through, right? What we should be doing is actually, and maybe you're going to pass this and maybe this is going to somehow make things better, but we don't know that. We haven't really thought through, does the stair count twice? Does the thing count twice? What do we do with the attic in there? You know, what do we do with the garage that was added to the first garage? What we were proposing in the professional meeting was that what we need to do is we actually need to document what our neighborhoods are doing in relationship to what our zoning is doing. For example, we have R9, which happens in Witherspoon Jackson, and it's happening next to the canal. Have no relationship to each other, no logic, right? Or we have Ewing Street that has, I don't know how many zones, right? Does that make sense? Is it supposed to be that way? I don't know. So once we identify the problems, then we can say, okay, here are the problems, and we can attack them. And I totally hear Mirla saying that that will take a long time, but we already wasted a ton of time, and the first thing the consultant should have done is compare what we have to what, you know, what the zoning is requiring, and somehow that just completely didn't happen. So other things that what I hope would come out of this is try to think for the future and say, you know, where are we going with this? For example, if right now we're requiring, if somebody wants to put an in-law unit into their house, they're required to add another parking space, right? And all sorts of things that create more garages, more paved areas, more things that are, we with our zoning are effectively creating a lot of problems that we're trying to stop, right? That we're complaining. So I hear that this is going to take a long time, and I hear this is the harder thing to do rather than just say, hey, put the garage 6 feet back. But we kind of have to start doing it, in my opinion. So what we've done, this is going to sound, I don't know, political, but lately we've been talking a lot about building walls and keeping people out. And our zoning is effectively doing that, right? We've created a situation where we only have houses for sale that are $1.3 million. And you know what? It's our zoning that is doing that. Let's ask Roman if rather than building these $1.3, $1.4 million houses, maybe he would be willing to, in the same exact place, same exact size, bulk, to build a duplex. And then he doesn't have to count the 2-car garages, because then now all of a sudden he's selling a 3-bedroom one side, 3-bedroom on another side, and people don't care about having a 2-car garage. When you're buying a $1.4 million house, then you're like, where's my 2-car garage, right? But if there are 2 things that are, you know, $650, then nobody wants the 2-car garage attached to the house. It's a whole other game. Then we can have more walkable places. We could have more people live close to town. I know I keep saying this is a total dream, but if we start thinking about that way, and how is our zoning effectively dictating this economic wall that we just build around ourselves, maybe we could solve both our visual problems and our economic problems. So, my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you.